So this is my Lenovo IdeaPad 100S Chromebook. It's actually a pretty decent computer. This version that I have does have a Intel Celeron chip inside of it. And if you can see there, I already had the developer screen and everything. But the big draw I had when I bought this computer was that it was so cheap. It was about $100. But when I got it home, I found out that I couldn't do everything I wanted to do with it. The USB boot was totally restricted. Even enabling the Chrome operating system options that should allow it to boot into legacy mode did not work. When I reached that screen on the developer screen, the key combination Control-L or Control-U just didn't work and just caused the computer to beep at me. So I was pretty unhappy with that, but I did find a way to actually get it to boot from USB and allow me to keep the Chrome operating system on the disk as well. So that is the goal of today's video, is to get the computer here working from USB and also allow me to just reach my normal Chrome operating system. I'll apologize in advance for video quality. I am recording on my phone. I don't have a standing cam or anything, and I really wish I did for this. But I wanted to make this guide in case anybody else ran into this problem. I'll also note, following this guide, you will definitely void your warranty on the computer. We are going to be removing internal write protection screw and opening the computer up. So do this at your own risk. I will not be responsible for you bricking your own computer. Okay, if that didn't scare you away, we will go ahead and get started. I need to make actually one more addendum to my intro, and that is, when I made the intro, it was after the fact. I'd already got the computer working the way that I wanted it to. So, for the rest of the video, I've actually reset the computer back to factory settings so that you can follow along basically from scratch. If you are able to log into the computer with your Gmail account or whatever, or if you've also factory reset your computer, we will be at nearly the same exact state. I'm going to walk you through everything that I did to make this work. Okay, with that said, we can actually continue now. To start off, we actually need to remove a write protection screw from inside the computer. So we need to take out all of the screws on the underside. And a regular screwdriver should just work for this. And since I'm using my phone to record here, I'm going to take these out off camera. So after you have the 10 screws from out underneath the computer, you can actually flip it back over. And this will boot the computer when you open the lid, but you can just kill that. And we'll actually need to pry off the keyboard here from around the edges. It's kind of tricky the first time. I've already pulled this up a few times before, but I found if you manage to pull this edge out just a little bit, you can pry up the edge here slowly. And if you need to, you can use a screwdriver or something, but of course you'll risk damaging the edges here, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it on camera, but I have damaged it a little bit. So I like to just actually pry that side up, and I'll see if I can show you here. and it does just pry up. There are some plastic tabs around the outside. You just have to snap up. And you'll want to be very careful removing this because, of course, the keyboard is attached inside there. Okay, so it does just snap out after some prying on it. And from here, you'll actually just want to slowly and carefully lift up the keyboard. And you can actually just flip it over. Okay, so this next part will definitely void your warranty. And we actually need to remove the right protection screw, which is right there. If you can see, it's got the white arrow next to it. When I first opened this computer, it actually had a white Lenovo sticker on it, so you'll be able to see it. And that's obviously so they can tell if you've opened this up. But it's right here. And you just unscrew that. And remove it. And you can actually put this all back together, but I like to put that right protection screw back in when I'm all done. So you can flip this back over so we can use the keyboard. Okay, now we need to boot our computer into developer mode. And it is important to plug your computer in because this will take about 10 to 15 minutes. So just boot your computer up. And it's important to note also I've reset this back almost to factory defaults so I could walk you through as much as possible. So at this screen you will usually have your login, but since this is default I haven't set anything up at all. But from here we'll want to hit the escape, refresh, and power keys all at the same time to go into developer mode to enable it. I'll show you that here. Your computer will restart and it will bring up this OS is missing or damaged screen. Nothing has actually happened yet, but at this screen you'll need to hit Control D and you'll hit a new screen where it asks you to turn off OS verification by pressing enter. When you press enter, your computer will reboot again and then start enabling developer mode. This will completely power wash your computer and return it back to factory settings with developer mode enabled. So we're going to hit enter. And this is the part that takes a long time. This is the dev mode screen that you'll usually get. It lasts about 30 seconds. And we're going to be neutering that as well since I hate how long this takes. And from this point onward you're going to see this screen no matter what. And when we neuter it, we'll get rid of those two beeps at the end there too. But I just hate how long this takes to start up. So here we are at the developer mode screen where it's enabling. And at the top here, it's starting its countdown. But in about half a minute. it will actually start enabling developer mode and washing your PC. And I'll try and get a capture of that as well. There's a little progress bar that appears at the top. There you go. And it shows you ETA. I found this takes about 10 to 15 minutes, so I'm going to come back when this is about done. Okay, your computer will automatically reboot after it's done setting up developer mode, and it will bring you to this screen where you set up your settings again. I've already logged into my Wi-Fi. You will need to do that because we will be needing the internet to download a shell script to flash the ROM. So go ahead and log into your network, and then we'll be using a key combination to open a terminal. So the key combination is Control-Alt and this right arrow key, F2, and it'll bring up this screen here. There's actually directions right on this screen here on how to set up a root password for Kronos, which is our root login, which is Chrome OS set dev password. And you will most likely want to do that after we're all done so that you can secure your system, because anybody at this point, if they have access to your computer, can use Control-Alt F2 key code to bring up the system and log in with the username Kronos. And setting that password up will require to use a password to reach the screen from this point onward. I'm not going to do that right now. But we are going to log in with Kronos, C-H-R-O-N-O-S, and it will bring you to this prompt here. The first command we're going to run is sudo flashrom space -- wp dot disable. And this is going... oh, flashrom, excuse me. And this is going to disable the software write protection. And it should say success above your next prompt. We're going to double check this with sudo flashrom -- wp status. And it should say write protect is disabled right there on the second line above the new prompt. Now we're going to run a command to download a shell script from johnlewis.ie, who makes the specialty ROMs for Chromebooks to re-enable like legacy mode and stuff. So the full command for this line is cd ;rm space -f flash _ Chromebook rom.sh curl curl space -O https johnlewis.ie /flash _ Chromebook _ rom.sh sudo -E bash flash _ Chromebook _ rom.sh. So here's a look at that full line. Make sure that I got it all typed in there correctly. And then just hit enter. And it'll bring you to this next screen here, which is his donation and website and everything. And I'm going to reset my recording on my phone before we continue. Okay, so from this screen, we just hit enter, and it will bring us to a new options screen, where it gives us 3 options on which type of ROM we want to flash. The first option is the safest and is actually what we'll be using. The second and third carry a chance of bricking your computer. Since we want to run Chrome OS alongside being able to like USB boot, we just want one anyway. Option 3 is a total wipe of your system and you will not be able to run Chrome OS natively anymore. So we're going to hit 1, enter, and it's going to download what it needs, and then it's going to ask you to type this phrase here: if this bricks my Orco on my head, be it. This is just to make sure that you know what you're doing and it carries a risk. So you have to type that correctly with correct punctuation and capital letters. If this bricks my Orco, comma, on my head, be it. And if you mess this up, it won't do anything. You'll just have to here, actually, I'll just show you. Put a bunch of crap in there so it'll fail. It says you failed to enter the phrase correctly. And it'll bring you back to your prompt. So from here, instead of typing that whole long command again, you can just use the up arrow, and it'll put it all back in there for you, and you can hit enter again, which will actually re-download and everything, but it really doesn't take that long. So we're going to go back through our options and retype our phrase correctly. And then just hit enter when you're all done. And we'll run the flashrom and flash the new ROM to our chip. And it should say success, or that message there. Before we reboot, we need to run a few more commands. With that right protection screw removed, we can now neuter that dev screen so it doesn't take so long to start up. And again, I'm going to reset my recording before I continue. Okay, so let's see if I can bring that down into the camera. Our next command is to set the GPB Flags so we can change how long that dev screen takes to actually boot. And that is done with sudo /usr user /share /vboot /bin /set_gbb_flags.sh. And if you leave this without any options after it here, it will actually show you the flags that you can use. The first option there, GPB flag dev screen short delay, is what we really want, and that'll make the dev screen only take 2 seconds to flash by. It'll also get rid of those beeps. We are also going to be using force dev switch on. That is that dev screen where it says as a red exclamation point. If you tap space at that screen, you'll actually reset your computer again. It'll wipe it. And we don't want anybody to actually be able to do that. So by forcing that switch on, you can actually disable tapping space to reset your system. If you ever want to reset your system back fully default though, you'll need to come back in here and set the flags to 0, which I will show you the command for that in just a second. So with the flags we want to use known, we type, or we can actually just use the up arrow, set GPB flags.sh space 0x9 is the correct flags we want. If you want to reset this to default, you just type 0x0 to set it to clear all the flags. We want 9, so we press enter, and this will flash a different portion of the ROM and set our GPB flags up the way we want them. There's only a couple more commands to run, and this is to enable legacy and USB boot in the Chrome operating system options. The command for that is sudo crossystem dev boot USB equals 1, and sudo crossystem dev boot legacy equals 1. And we're going to make sure those were set correctly by typing sudo crossystem and then this pipe, which is above the enter here, space grep dev. If I could type cross system correctly. Oh, 3 S's. There we go. And that will show you all the lines in the cross system output that has the word dev in it. And our options we're looking for is dev boot USB, and we want to make sure those are both set to 1, which they are. Okay, we should be all done here. My recording cut off there, but all I was saying was that you could set up your set dev password for the Chronos username. Like I said, I'm not going to bother with that right now. So I'm going to actually just type exit, and that'll bring us back to the login screen. And you can exit this screen by hitting Control-Alt-F1, which is the actual left arrow key up there. And it'll bring you back to your login. Now there is one more caveat to booting with a USB on this computer. And this comes around from the way we set up those GPB flags. If you leave the GPB flags at 0, that will leave that super long developer mode screen with that red exclamation point intact. And I will actually just show you how long it takes now. We'll just reboot. This screen, and you can see up there it shows us our non-zero flags. It's much shorter now. I much prefer that. And if we reboot, this screen here, by tapping spacebar, we cannot wipe our system. So that prevents anybody from accidentally doing that. The caveat for like a live boot USB is we need to get into legacy mode. And I've found if you plug in a USB stick before activating legacy mode, it will not go into it. It will not reach the BIOS screen you want. So you actually have to be kind of clever and activate legacy mode and then stick in the USB stick. And I'll show you that. So we restart. And to reach legacy mode from the screen, you hit Control L. And I missed it. Probably. Yeah, I missed it. But that's mostly because I'm trying to hold my phone and record and everything. So I'll see if I can get it this time. So Control L will bring you to the CBIOS screen here. And you hit Escape for your boot menu. But you cannot boot from the hard disk. And that's the big caveat here. And since I don't have my USB plugged in, because I have to be quick with it, there's no bootable device. So we're going to, I'll try and set my phone up here and capture me actually booting with the USB, if I can get it to work. Okay, so I'm just going to restart the computer. I'd probably use this one, but my keyboard is sitting up there. So we're just going to power it on, Control L for legacy, slide the USB stick in, wait for the screen to pop up here for boot menu, escape, and there it is. There's our bootable USB. So if I just hit 1 or enter, it will boot up to my USB stick. And that is what we wanted here. That's everything we needed. And this does all work. If I hit enter there, it'll actually start up Tails. And this is just a clip showing that it does indeed actually work. The keyboard also works, but the trackpad will not. It's just there's a lack of drivers for it. And I haven't found a workaround other than just plugging in a USB mouse and using that. That does seem to work. And this sometimes does take a while to start up, but it actually does indeed all work. Here we go. So I can hit tab and maybe be able to see through there, but my trackpad does not work. So this is just quick reassembly. I'm taking my right protection screw and going ahead and drop it back in there and tighten it down. I really need a better way of holding up that phone, but just slide the keyboard back together and snap it together in the opposite way we took it apart. Snap all my edges down. And just put all the screws back in the bottom. And that's pretty much it. You have a fully functional USB boot Chromebook now.